So I wanted to make this video for a long time, and it's about how a welfare state basically affects men and women. And we can see this from, as the title says, from the mouse Utopia experiments, because that's what the mouse Utopia experiment simulates. A welfare state with a virtually unexhaustible supply of resources. In reality, welfare states generally fail because they, after time, they remain without resources, and a lot of problems appear. But here's the thing. There are situations where for at least some time it appears that the resources will never end, so you have scenarios that happen exactly as the mouse Utopia experiment, because it doesn't have to go on forever. It just have to go on for long enough for the scenario to happen, basically about 3 generations. So what happens? First, from the male perspective. From the male perspective, and I wanted to get this out of the way because that's the shortest, they don't have the incentive to do a lot of things. Basically, they remain with 2 drives. One, to take care of themselves, which basically is basic grooming, and the second is for sexual, and to basically do stuff that make them pleasure. And for animals it's sexual pleasure mostly, because they don't have a lot of stuff. Maybe if they were elephants or dolphins, they would play with toys or stuff like that, but for mice it's just sexual pleasure. Now after a few generations, their society, when it comes to male, divided in 4 groups. The first group is the strongest males, which just basically fight for females, and that's about all they did all day long, and at some point they just die of exhaustions. We have the second category of mice, which basically were just sneaking when the first category were sleeping and just risking their life to just have a bit of the action, so to speak. But that generally came at a great cost, because many times they were caught, hurt, and so on. And also most of the females would not let them do this, so after a time they just quit trying. You have the third category that resorted to same-sex relations to satisfy themselves. But again, they were attacked most of the times and hurt and so on, so that didn't last too much either. And then you have the last category, basically the beautiful ones, which basically just took care of themselves, this stuff that they enjoy doing alone and stuff like that. And that's basically the red pill man, because they realize there's no point in fighting for the males or even for the other stuff, so let's do something else to enjoy ourselves. And that's basically what happens to males, which it's pretty sad on some form, but it is what it is. Now from the female side, you can see this basically in every group of animals that where the males do not have to provide resources and protection. if they just provide one of them, it kind of works for them sometimes, but not so well either. And I'm going to give some other examples beside mice. So the reasoning after a few generations of females was, okay, why should I bother basically mating with other males except the top ones? There's no point. In a normal situation, due to lack of resources, basically one male mouse couldn't provide for too many females, so the rest understood that they have to settle, similar to the and as a parenthesis, all that I'm talking here, it's also seen in humans, but without any without any problem with resources, there's no point in choosing on a lesser male. That's the first. The second thing that females realized is that there's no point in making and taking care of babies, of infants, because that requires a lot of work, a lot of time, and there's no benefit in this welfare situation. What is going to happen if nothing bad is going to happen to them? When the resources were provided by the male, well, if they didn't take care of the infants, then the male will stop providing resources. But when they don't have to rely on the male for this, they just renounce of taking care of the infants. And we see this in human society as well. Now, I said that in some cases we can see this on other animals. And one example would be the bonobos. It's a species of chimps that basically live in a very secluded area. They have basically everything they need as food and resources and virtually no predators. And they're extinct because, again, females refuse to have infants and the males are emasculated, they don't do jack shit, and so on. You have also the lions. Now, lions are a bit on the middle because they do provide protection for the females, and as a result they do get a bit of they have pride of lions and they get to pass on their genes. But again, the populations are almost extinct because first, you don't have genetic diversity, and second, well, females hunt and are stronger than the males. If in most situations, especially if they attack more than if two females attack one male. So yeah. So again, it's a problematic situation. I mean, it's not like they are on the road to extinction as fast as the bonobos, but they're there. You have the pandas, again, the same problem as the bonobos. You have the spotted hyenas, which again are an extinct species. Now, one might argue that you have a counterexample in cats and dogs, but cats and dogs take care of their litter only because we train them to do so, and if they don't, we take care of their litter. So basically our intervention forces them to basically maintain their roles. Now we see this in a human society as a result of the welfare state that is resulted from the worst government system that was ever invented, which is democracy, which basically says, okay, you have a lot of people that refuse to contribute, to decide for a group for everybody, including for the ones that contribute for the benefit. They don't contribute with resources, work, defense, anything, but they decide for the rest. And generally it always transforms into welfare state and always goes bankrupt. And it's also some warning against feminism, basically giving the women the right to do whatever they want. And basically, here's the thing: you cannot force women to be responsible for their actions, because in the end they have the ability to produce children, even though they choose not to. And if you give them the rights without responsibility, all goes to shit, and that's what happens. And this is what the Utopia experiment warns us about. Yeah. Good luck and have a nice day.